Mount&Blade with Fire and Sword is an RPG slash third-person action game developed by Tailworlds and published by Paradox Interactive. The game currently costs $10 on Steam. If you watch my quick message video, which I'll leave an annotation for here, I changed my review score from a 100-point scale to a medal system. This will be the first review that I've done to use this system. Let's get started. Gameplay. The gameplay in Mount&Blade with Fire and Sword is extremely fun and addicting. There are two different ways to play the game. The first way, which during battles and while exploring cities, villages, caves, etc., you will be the normal third or first person perspective. Preferably the third, but the first person is better for aiming with a gun, which I will get to in a minute. There are many different weapons that you can use, from spears, javelins, swords, and other polearms to a new addition in the Mount&Blade franchise, firearms. Firearms are incredibly effective, but take forever to reload and are relatively inaccurate. But they still feel fair, however. In the game, your inventory system will work for your entire party, which you can have an army, which size is dependent on several different factors. The second way you'll play the game is in a large bird-eye view, which you will see the map, the cities which have their name flying above them, and your army in the center. You can travel the cities, or fight other armies, bandits, etc. This game also has a good leveling system, which has many cool attributes and skills to learn. But leveling up doesn't make you feel as powerful as you should, but it's still not a bad system. Let's move on to graphics. The graphics is the worst aspect of this game. From a distance, the graphics are nice, if not a little bland. Up close, you will realize that plants and other environmental textures can be pretty pixelated and ugly. Worst of all, the graphics has to be the looks of cities, which is incredibly boring with a bad color palette, and face textures, which look like they came out of a comic book, never changing. Overall, for the price you pay, it's not that bad at all. Story, I won't lie, there really isn't a story per se. There are a bunch of quests, most of which don't have anything to do with each other. What you could consider the main quest is each faction has a large quest for their domination. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention factions. All of the factions were part of history. Actual history, yes, world history, but in the end are basically the same. I'll give you a few examples. The Muscovite Tsardom, which are the Russians, Polish Commonwealth, etc. You can join any of them, and the only differences between them seem to be each one has different types of soldiers, or prefers them anyway. Russia usually prefers, I think, ground troops and basically tanks. But the quests are generally pretty boring, but it is fun to just kill people. The multiplayer. Multiplayer in this game is incredibly fun when played with good people. It has a great currency system, which, based on server, gives you a default of 1,750 gold, which you can spend on weapons and armor. The more kills and points you get, the more gold you get to spend on equipment. This works well most of the time, but it becomes a problem when that one guy is really good, then gets even better equipment, and can sometimes become near to impossible to defeat alone. There are usually only one of these per server though, so it doesn't generally become too much of a problem. There are many game modes, some of which you already know of, like Team Deathmatch, but Siege stands out as the best. One team defends a castle while the other team tries to capture it. Simple but fun. Overall, Mount&Blade with Fire and Sword is a great game, with a few problems in graphics and story, but amazing gameplay and multiplayer. I give it a gold medal. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and have a good day, guys.